So that was a rough video last week, huh? Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, man. Lots of people were quite angry. Oh my God, yeah. So angry. Whoa. Just comment after comment of everybody hating on your testing methods and basically everything about it. Yeah, I got it. Wrong arrowheads. I heard you the first time. Old compound. Look, that's not the point I was trying to make. I was simply trying to say that, dude, chill. You gotta know. Deep down, you know. I genuinely don't care. Fantastic. So happy to have you along in my party. Always there. Just so great. Oh, now, you don't mean that. If I didn't have you in my party, who would I have to sneak around like a coward and shoot people in the back? It would be way too much honest work. Well, you know what always cheers me up when I feel bad? What's that? Lifting weights. Oh yeah. It's time for a fitness video, folks. With Sir Gaines. That is right, folks. We are back for a fitness video. Why, you ask? Well, because arrows are expensive. Fitness videos are cheap, and next to React video, probably the laziest way to make content on YouTube. And so today I'm going to make myself a cheap video, but it's going to be about 5 tips that I use to basically stay lean. So as many of you may know, I hail from the proud land of the Knights of Narcissus. And in the lands of Narcissus, there's a proud oral tradition. Is that because no one in Narcissus knows how to read or write? Can read these gains. Got a cramp. Cramp. Now, anyways, as I was saying, these are 5 tips that I personally use to try and stay lean year round. Some context for this, I was not always lean. I've been this way for about 5 years, kind of go up and down, just a few pounds here and there. But prior to that, I was much heavier. And it wasn't until 5 years ago I got really serious about diet, exercise, what have you, and I was able to get down to a leaner physique. So these are 5 things that I do anecdotally. I want to note that. I'm not a fitness expert because, well, you know, reading, but these are 5 things I do that I feel help keep me in a leaner state as I go about my life. Number 5, staying away from fad diets that are not really sustainable. So when I say not sustainable, what I mean is not sustainable for you personally. Some people, carnivore may work, keto may work, Weight Watchers may work, but it's more about finding the one that fits for you. You can't fit a square peg in a round hole, and you can't make yourself do a diet for a long period of time that you hate. So for me, it was about finding that balance where I know I'm able to keep the carbs low, protein high, the fats low, but I'm also very much able to enjoy my life as a whole. I'm not miserable all the time.
Starving. By practically, you mean not really.
Kind of in that same category, I put the supplements, so to speak, or the fat burners, the testosterone boosters, things like that, that make these unrealistic promises.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That kind of puts people in a mindset of a crutch, and I don't think in any way that I've seen it works. I've never used it personally, so again, this is anecdotal, not a fitness expert. But I really feel like having a sustainable diet and not jumping on the fads, whether it be the diet fads or the supplement fads, is a way to kind of have a longer term goal, because it's a long-term thing. You can get lean, but staying that way is like, you got to have a game plan if you want to do that. Number 4, try not to ego lift. I said before, I'm getting close to 40, and the one thing that sidetracks you dramatically as you get older for sure is getting hurt. And ego lifting is definitely a young man's game. So everything I do, whether there's a new exercise, the first few times I do it, I take it really slow. I don't go heavy right away. I build up to it slowly. Even if I go for a run, if I haven't run for a long period of time, I'll usually start with a half-mile walk. The next week or so, I'll go a little bit further. But it's a slow build, because nothing derails you faster than being motivated getting hurt and then having to start all over. So leave the ego at the door and start slow. Number 3 is cardio. Is cardio. Cardio. Nope. Oh, give it. Nope. You can have it, Ranger. Nope. So I'll take over and help out from here. What Sir Gaines is trying to say is cardio. So for me, one of the biggest things that I do that I feel helps consistently to keep a leaner physique is I continue often with cardio. I do endless amounts of it, an hour and a half a day, usually about 7 times a week. Now, obviously abs are made in the kitchen, as a lot of people do say, but that doesn't mean that, you can't help negate those off days by constantly doing cardio. So not all cardio has to look the same. It's very different for a lot of different people. I found what works for me is cycling, whether I'm on the road or on a trainer in the garage. That is the easiest way for me to get that time in. I feel like it's low impact, doesn't stress out the body, and being only probably 9 months away from 40 years old, I feel like that's something where I really feel like I can maintain for a long period of time. And as I've said before, I listen to audiobooks and I do other things. That's like the time I have for myself. And it's something I look forward to every morning, even though it's very, very early. It's the first thing I do because I enjoy it and I feel pretty energized for the rest of the day. Number 2, that didn't work, is going to be find filler food. So what I mean by finding filler foods is simply adding stuff to your meals, every meal you have, that helps fill you up with a low amount of calories.
Wheezing. Dude, you're wheezing now. You slow down. Breathe and eat separately.
For me, it's always lettuce. So I have tons of lettuce with anything that I eat. Whether it's chicken, I just put on a big bag of lettuce or a head of lettuce. I have celery as a snack. I'll have green beans, zucchini, things that take up a lot of room in your stomach, high volume, but don't add a lot of calories. And on top of that, whenever I do eat a meal, if I sit down and eat or even snack, I try to drink a ton of water with it, because the water very much helps fill you up as well, and it gets you to a point where you don't feel like you are starving. You're not going to feel satiated necessarily. That's a big thing to recognize. The difference between satiation, as in that feeling when you get like a really good plate of nachos.
You know what I'd really like?
Tell me.
A cheeseburger.
Versus a big head of lettuce. It's not going to feel the same, but it's learning to live with that here and there, and also figuring out how far you want to take this, and if you're comfortable or happy being that way, or if you just feel like I need, a little extra weight to feel a little happier. However, before we get to number 1, I'm going to turn it over to Ranger here for this week's sponsor. What? We don't have a sponsor. What do you mean? We don't have sponsors. Really? Nothing? No sponsor. No. I think you have us confused with another channel. We don't get money here. We just spend it. Well, it's disappointing. All right then. Back to number 1. Now, it should be no surprise to anyone that number 1 is consistency. Now, when I say consistency, I mean that basically for every single day this week so far, I have done the trainer, and I'll show you kind of the stats of what it is, but it really is, I'm probably doing cardio and weightlifting like 25 out of the days every month. Diet, I keep consistent. I have a few more fun days than I used to, just because life is better that way, guys. When I was doing the channel earlier, I was so lean, and it just wasn't fun for my wife or I. There's a point where it's just not enjoyable. But I have that cardio session, those exercise sessions, so that when I go out and have fun and I engage and I have fun with my children, go to a pizza place or go out, I can have a slice or two and not feel horrible, because I know I put in the work early in the morning to get it done. So consistency and patience is the number 1 thing. It's not a secret. It's something that a lot of people say, but that is the number 1 right there. The final thing I want to leave you with is that how you look physique, whether you have abs or not, has no benefit aside from you just feeling like you look a certain way.
Spandex! All spandex!
when I was heavier, my wife didn't love me less. My job wasn't easier. My kids didn't love me more or less, depending on how I looked. It really is just something that I wanted to try to do for myself, but it doesn't change anything about who you are, what your personality is, or how you feel happiness-wise. If you have a lot of extra weight, you very well may feel down or depressed because your body's not functioning properly, or you're having a hard time doing normal things. But if you're at a weight where you are healthy, you're exercising, you're just not lean, that is completely fine. If you're 40, 50, whatever, like, it doesn't need to be this way. You know, this is just something I obsess over for some reason, and this is the things I do to try to stay alert a certain way, but it really didn't change anything about my life. I mean, maybe I got more followers on YouTube because of it, but aside from that, that's not my job either. This is just a hobby. It's a fun way to share what I love. Kind of an example of that is I have very little lower back development. It's mainly all upper back, and that's mainly from using heavy bows. And when I lift weights, that's what I focus on, try and get stronger to pull with a heavy war bow, and you don't necessarily need the lower back for that as much. So it's all tailored and custom towards doing what I love, and that gets me out of the bed in the morning because I want to get better at a thing. I want to get better at a skill, at a task, and it gives you that extra drive and function and purpose. And that really helps just to kind of get you past those humps. About having a goal, it's not just looking a certain way, it's about accomplishing a goal, something you're striving for. That can be a physique, sure, but if it's something outside of that, I feel like it's a lot easier to stay on the bandwagon. So that is it. This is a short, cheap, easy video. I'm in the process of talking to a couple different companies. I want to try to get some of those 100-pound compounds. They're like 1,500 bucks. I'm trying to see if I can work something out with them. I've talked to a couple guys about different arrows and specific broadheads, so I've ordered some more specific bodkin tip broadheads to try and revisit the test that I did with the compound bow. That's going to be basically the best of the best that can be applied nowadays to give a more fair shake. And so stick with me on that, guys. It's going to be a longer road because I need to try to get those and not spend a ton of money to do it, but that's still on the back burner there. More fun stuff to come soon, so I can't wait.